Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Martin SN0118. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but you guys know the deal by now. It's not going to sway my review one way or another. And if you find yourself wanting to pick one of these up at the end of this review, head down to the video description. There's always going to be a link there. This time it is an affiliate link. If you guys use that link, you aren't paying any extra. I'll just get a little bit of a kickback, and that'll help keep the channel running. So again, huge thank you to anyone who's ever supported the channel in that way. The retail price for this watch on the bracelet is $264 US. You can get this on an FKM strap for $225 US. That's before any taxes, sales, or coupons. And as always with San Martin, their first couple weeks, the watch is on a sale. So they do offer a pretty decent discount. This time it's $25 off. So if you want to, you can get this watch for $200 US. The watch comes in 3 different variations that you can see here on screen. And like I mentioned earlier, you can get this with a color matched FKM strap, which I think looks really nice. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal with AR coating, a ceramic bezel insert, screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 200 meters of claimed water resistance, and the watch is powered by the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So if you guys are looking for like a bright, colorful summertime watch, I say look no further. Let's get into the review and find out why. But before we do a quick wrist check. Today, wearing my Damasco DS30. You might see a different watch on wrist later. That's because I'm reshooting this first section of the video. Had a little trouble, but yeah. All right, let's get into the dimensions. Got a bezel diameter of 40.7 millimeters, case thickness of 12.4 millimeters, 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 47.5 millimeters, and on this applied metal bracelet with no links removed, it weighs 132 grams. So I think the size on this thing actually works pretty good, but I believe it wears smaller than it really is, and I'm not really sure why. It's 47.5 lug to lug, which is normal, 41 millimeters on the diameter almost, and it does have some big chunky crown gouge, but for some reason it just wears really good. I think a lot of that is down to the mid case there. Really nicely sculpted mid case, good turn down to the lugs as well, nice and thin. So yeah, I mean, it just wears really, really nice and very comfortable on the bracelet as well. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5-inch wrist. And as you can see, it wears great. I love the size of this thing. It wears super thin, got a nice turn down to the wrist there. Yeah, really nice, thin mid case as well. You can see here underneath the oak tree, you get lots of reflections off of the dial and the crystal. The crystal is showing more reflections on it actually. The crystal is actually really nice. It's just the dial that gives off a lot of reflections. Those indices, they play with the light like crazy. They really, really sparkle. And I think it makes it appear more reflective than it actually is. So yeah, it's just an odd, you can see right there. I mean, really nice clear AR coating on this thing. And sadly, we don't have any direct sunlight, but you can see here in more traditional lighting, it looks good. It looks really good. Those indices, they really do play with the light, catch the light nicely, and reflect beautifully. Matte ceramic bezel looks fantastic. Lots of bling off of the bracelet as well. It just looks really good. Got a really comfortable fit on this thing too with the clasp. So yeah, I think it looks really good. Let's go throw it on some straps and we'll get back to the review. And here we are on a black rubber strap. This is from Strapsco. Just a simple black rubber strap. I think looks pretty good on this one. You're going to have to use some pretty, I guess, boring colors on this just because it's such a colorful watch. I don't really think blues and anything like that look really good. So blacks, browns, and orange. So let's go throw it on some other strap. And here we are on a nice brown leather strap. This is a Hemsu leather strap. Link will be down below. I think that matches with the bezel pretty much spot on. I think that looks actually pretty good. What do you guys think? And here we are on a Barton silicone strap in orange. I think it really makes those indices, that lume, just kind of pop. I think it looks pretty cool in this combo. What do you guys think of that one? Just a perfect summer watch right there. And lastly, here we are on a ribbed nylon strap. This is from CNS Watch Bands in brown. Not a huge fan of that combo. 2 layers are underneath the watch there. Still sitting pretty nice on wrist though. All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. Yeah, so let's talk about the case and the case finishing. So the case finishing is fully brushed. I don't see any polished accents on the case itself. On the bezel you have some, and on the crown you have some, but The case itself is fully brushed. And as always with St. Martin, they do a very nice job. You have a kind of a circular brushing on the tops of the lugs here, and then a horizontal brushing on the case sides. And again, I mean, getting up real close, it looks really, really good. Nice, consistent. It's got a good luster to it, like always with St. Martin. Nice sharp transitions on these corners and everything too. All these corners on the end of the lugs, they're pretty nicely rounded off, so it's not really sharp. Even this bottom edge here is not too bad. So yeah, pretty happy with the case finishing on this. You can see nice big chunky crown guards as well. Hiding that crown there. There's a screw down crown signed, and you can see here I got almost a perfect alignment on that crown, which is just a happy coincidence. I mean, that's something that I would love to see them do, but I don't see that happening. I just got lucky on this one. But yeah, it does look really, really good. I'm happy with the case finishing. I'm happy with the case back as well. It's simple, circular brushing, no engravings or anything like that. It's nice and smooth, simple notches to get a tool in there. I've got no issues at all. I'll let you see in between the lugs since it's pretty easy to get in here. Even in between the lugs is pretty nicely finished. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the case finishing on this. All right, so let's talk about the bezel on this thing. So the bezel is really, really nice. One of my favorite parts of the watch, actually. The bezel itself is fully polished, as you can see. Polished on the top edge, polished in the teeth here, the grip. Plenty of grip on this thing, really nice. Just very, I mean, it's lots and lots of grip. Resistance is good as well. The insert, really interesting. I think the other ones might be glossy, but this one is a matte bezel insert, ceramic. Nice engravings, all filled in with white paint. I think it looks really good. I've got no issues with that. I think the color that they went with, really actually interesting. It's almost like a coffee brown. But yeah, really happy with it. You can see the alignment is spot on. That lume pip in the middle, it is integrated into the bezel insert, so it's not going to get knocked off or anything like that. Yeah, it just looks really good. Very happy with the bezel insert in this. The bezel action, really, really solid. 120 click unidirectional. There is no play at all. Maybe just a teeny tiny bit of play. I can't even really show you guys, but really solid action on this thing. I'm going to let you listen to it here. I'm going to bring it real close to the microphone so you can really hear how crisp and nice that sounds. You hear that? So that is a 120 click unidirectional. It's a very loud bezel, but it is very satisfying. Yeah, just a great amount of resistance. I could use just a teeny tiny bit more, but I haven't accidentally knocked it yet, so I guess it's pretty much spot on as far as the resistance goes. Like I said, the action is excellent. Very happy with that as well. Really nice and tactile. Nice, kind of a very high quality sounding one. Sometimes you get clicks that are nice, but they sound cheap. This one feels good, sounds good, and looks good. So yeah, I really like the bezel on this thing. All right, let's test this thing for sapphire. You can see it is positive for sapphire. So it is a double dome sapphire crystal with clear and reflective coating. Very subtle dome, but it is a dome crystal. You can see there, nice and clear even at the extreme angles there. So really happy with the crystal on this thing. You can see it appears very reflective, but that's just the indices and the hands. If you're looking at just paying attention to the dial, I think they put a lot of AR coating on this. I tested it. I didn't test it, but I did the eye test with some other watches that I think have good AR coating and less reflective hands and indices, and it's just as good as those. So I think the crystal is actually pretty good, and you can tell at certain angles. The crystal just kind of disappears. But when you do get some light off of those dial indices and the hands, it does appear very reflective. So kind of plays a little bit of a trick on your eyes, but yeah, I think the crystal itself is really good. Yeah, so let's talk about the dial on this thing. So the dial is kind of the star of the show on this thing. Really bright colors, really cool texture as well, as you can see there. I am happy with the dial. It's a kind of a reverse fume, so it's a teal color on the outside, which fades to a really lighter teal on the inside. You have applied indices at all the hour markers. You got a double kind of baton type thing there at the 12 o'clock. It is just one piece and just double wide. But I think it looks really good. You have a sloped chapter ring around the outside there with your 5-minute increments. Really simple and kind of that tannish color. All that color on this dial really stands out and pops. I think it looks fantastic. The hands, the indices, they're high polished and they are faceted. They pick up the light and they kind of just sparkle like crazy. So really, really happy with that. The handset that they used reaches right out to the minute track. Again, everything is done very nicely. You have a really nicely color matched date wheel there set in a simple chamfered date window. It looks great. I've got no issues with that. Nice contrast with the black text there. Again, I think it looks really good. You do have your applied San Martin hex at the 12 o'clock and then simple automatic 200 meters at the 6 o'clock. Everything is done really nice. I think that red on the tip of the second hand there, it's my only real complaint with it. I wish they would just leave that all polished. It just doesn't quite go with the color scheme, and it just does get kind of lost. So, yeah, it's interesting. And then obviously, the big question is the Lume, right? They touted the Lume as being pretty good. So I'm going to pop up a Lume shot here. You can see it is an orange Lume. It glows orange. It's definitely not green like you can see on the steel dive on the left there. And then against the San Martin on the right, it's pretty much the same dial and hands on that watch as it is here. And so you can see how it kind of stands up against the BGW9. It does last all night long. I was able to read this in the middle of the night. The hands, they do fade a little bit faster than the dial, but for the most part, I had no real complaints with it. I was kind of surprised that the lastingness of this Lume is pretty much on par with BGW9. All right, so let's talk about the movement in this thing. So the movement is a Seiko NH35, so 21,600 beats per hour, 6 ticks of the second hand every second. It hacks, hand winds, does everything you need it to do, bidirectional winding rotor. It's a workhorse movement. They're great, they're reliable, they're accurate. This is how this one has been running. Can't complain about that. Plus 10, plus 11 seconds a day with a nice strong beater. I've got no issues with that. That's about what is average for a watch like this. This one is operated by a 3 o'clock screw-down crown. Again, nicely done. Nice size on the crown as well. I've got no issues with it at all. Nice satisfying pop out. First position is your hand winding. Second position is your date. All those dates are in there nicely. And then the third position, hacks your movement. This is where you set the time. Everything functions as it should. And yeah, I got no issues with it at all. Nice, simple screw down. Nice, smooth screw down action. Again, no real complaints at all with it. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet on this thing. So the bracelet is really interesting. First time I've seen something kind of like this. So it's 20 millimeters and it tapers down to 18 millimeters at the clasp. You can see here it is adjustable. So these are screw links. I didn't remove any for my 7.5-inch wrist, but I am on the tightest section. I'm actually going to, after this review, going to remove one of these links, and I'll kind of be in the middle for the on-the-fly adjustment. So like I said, it is an on-the-fly adjustable clasp, fully milled on the inside. It's a little tiny clasp, but I actually like it a lot. Again, really nicely done. San Martin applied hex logo there. Brushed on the top, brushed on the sides, little polished chamfer there. I think it looks really good. 2 button pushers here. They function great. Got no issues with that at all. Nice solid click in there. And then, like I mentioned, it is an on-the-fly clasp. So I'm on the smallest setting, but I can pull this out. You can see there, you got about, I don't know, 10 millimeters or so of adjustment. So you should be able to get a perfect fit on this thing. Nice and satisfying clicks too. So I wouldn't say it's quite as nice as their typical on-the-fly clasp, but it's still a really nice clasp and a nice bonus on a watch like this. Yeah, you're going to be able to get the perfect fitment on this thing. The mesh itself, I'm not a huge mesh bracelet fan, so I don't really know what makes them good, what makes them bad, but it doesn't pull the hairs or anything like that. It's decently flexible. Yeah, these things aren't meant to like fold in on top of themselves, but yeah, it's got plenty of flex, so you're going to get a good fitment on this thing. It's nice and fluid as well. Straight end links there. They do have quick release spring bars on them, which is nice. It's a double-ended quick release spring bar, but you really only need to use one to get it out. So yeah, really happy with the bracelet on this thing. I think for, I believe it's like $40 extra. If you like the style, get it, because this is actually a really good and very comfortable bracelet to have. I think their FKM straps are actually pretty nice though as well, from what I've heard and from what I've seen. So if that's kind of more your jam, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. So there you go, guys. That is the San Martin SN0118, a new release from San Martin. Just a simple three-hander, but some bright colors. Dive watch, 200 meters of water resistance. You're going to be able to take this into the pools and into the ocean this summer. Nice, bright, fun colors. Good lume, good crystal. Beautiful case. I actually really like this case. They did an excellent job with it. Really cool bracelet as well with an on-the-fly clasp. There's not a whole lot to complain about here. That bezel action, just sublime. Just, ooh, yeah, really, really good bezel action. Yeah, nice, clean, and simple dial layout with some fun colors. San Martin's kind of starting to get into their groove, I think. I can't wait to see what they come out with next in this kind of original design layouts. But yeah, this, I like it a lot, guys. I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.